Hi everyone, welcome back. We're outside in the goat shed in the chicken coop. I'm being surrounded by goats and chickens. The weather has been really cold this week. Actually, this is like our first full day of sun in a week. It's been nothing but gray and cloudy. So we're enjoying some sunshine, but there's been a lot of talk about the polar vortex. I know, it sounds scary. It really just means it's going to be really cold. So we have to get the barn ready for that. I'm a lot happier this year. So far the geothermal heat has been working really well. It's about 25 outside today right now. The barn's at 30. This morning the barn was at 26 and outside it was 9 degrees. So it makes quite a difference because last year we could only keep the barn about 2 degrees warmer than the outside temperature. So far this year, for keeping the animals warm, we have added insulation board up. The goats' pen and the chicken coop have that. We put plywood up where it's exposed to where the goats and the chickens can reach it because they're destructive. My husband wanted to believe that they weren't destructive, but trust me, they're destructive. So cover the insulation. That said, that's helped quite a bit, retain a lot of heat in the building. We did get a thermometer for Christmas, so we hung that up out here. Yesterday we had a high of 16 degrees Fahrenheit. The building inside stayed at about 24 to 26 degrees, which was pretty good because like I said, last year we really couldn't keep it more than 2 degrees higher than the outdoor temperature. So, been pretty happy with that. The geothermal's helping as well. That runs underground. It's about 6 feet down underground. There's 200 foot of pipe run. Has antifreeze cycling through it that's pumped up through. The pipes run underneath the floorboard here in the chicken coop in the goat shed, and that just helps to radiate a little bit of heat against the floorboards. It's not much, and it's not true heat because we're just using the ground temperature. But seeing as the ground 6 foot down stays at 55 degrees all the time, it helps add quite a bit of heat. We've never had it so that the barn would actually warm up during the day, at least more so compared to the outdoor temperature, and it seems to be doing that. Oh, Sophie's gonna attack the chickens. Sophie's not a fan of chickens, in case anyone was wondering. So now the chickens have some extra bedding. They'll get that all fluffed and compacted down, I'm sure. They've been enjoying their Christmas present, which was the flock block. It's got a bunch of different seeds and whatnot, so they've really liked pecking at that. It seemed to help quite a bit with production too. So I've actually noticed a little bit of a pickup in production. And then they also have another bucket in here that had sand in it mostly, but now it's half full of sawdust. So probably need to put more sand in that so they have a little dust bath. Does not matter if I open the door for them to go outside. They refuse to go out in the snow. So if anyone else has chickens in a northern climate, do your chickens go out in the snow? Because mine refuse. Like, it's like it paralyzes them. Now that the chickens are taken care of, we can add a little bit of sawdust to the goat pen. Hi, Leroy. Does that sound like a good idea? Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, does it? Okay, and that's what we'll do. We'll add a little bit of sawdust to Leroy's pen. Yes. All the hay that's in it, that's just the waste hay that they usually don't eat out of the bales. It's typically really long stuff anyways. I do keep a very close eye on it. I know hay can hold moisture. Make sure that it stays dry. So, easiest way to do that, pretend you're the goat. You have to kneel in the pen, and if your knee gets wet, then it's too wet. But if you're able to kneel in it and it stays dry, that means the goats aren't getting wet. I understand you're excited, but you're not helping. On a side note, something else exciting this week is I finally got a large metal garbage can, more or less, so that I can put more chicken feed in it so that I don't have to keep just a bag of chicken feed out here at a time. The chickens go through probably a 50-pound bag of feed every week and a half. So able to put, I'm going to try it out, I think 3. But if I can do that, that's like a month's worth of feed. So less trips to the feed store and more feed out here at once. It should work really well for the winter. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it in the summer depending on how much I can put in, just because it gets awful humid here in the summertime and I don't want to deal with any mold issues. But excited about this. Are you helping? Are you helping? What do you know? It fits 3 bags. So it is almost full to the top. It's a say leveled out, there's probably about 2, maybe 3 inches left. So you could fit another part of a bag. I definitely, no, Bob, you can't eat that. You definitely can't fit any more than that, but that's awesome. So that's pretty much going to be a month's worth of feed for the chickens, which will really cut down on the amount of times that I have to go to the feed store. Because the goats, seeing as there's only 3 of them, take forever to get through a 50-pound bag of grain. Bob, you really can't eat that. You can't. I understand you're upset, but it's bird food. Anyways, the goats take forever to get through grain because being that 2 of them are wethers, they really can't have much at all, and they're not very big goats, so they don't get that much grain to start with. Sophie gets some grain because she's still growing, and she gets some alfalfa pellets at night because, again, she's still growing. Plus, I don't feed alfalfa hay, quite honestly, because it's not good for boy goats. It can cause urinary stones, which is fatal to goats, so they just get some first cutting hay. So now the pens have a little bit of extra bedding in them. It'll just help add a little bit more insulation, nice and dry. So I know for a fact that everything is clean, dry, and ready to go for the cold snap that we're gonna get here pretty soon. I give them a little bit of extra hay during this time too. It helps to keep their metabolism working, which helps them to stay a little bit warmer. They always have fresh water available to them. So the chickens have a heated water, and so do the goats, just because otherwise everything completely freezes solid. I don't love heated implements in a barn, but so far these seem to work really well. The heated water bucket worked really well for the goats last year. So that's our plan. We'll see how cold it gets and update you on how the geothermal is working for the goat shed and the chicken coop, and just let you know how cold it gets, because sometimes it's amazing to people that it gets so cold. But here in the frigid north, it's not that uncommon. So thanks everyone for watching, and we look forward to catching up with you next week.